What's going on, people? So listen, I'm going to give you some information on how to remove late payments from your credit card, right? Now, this information only applies to credit card. It doesn't apply to loans, to mortgages, to car loans, to lines of credit, only on credit cards. So I'm going to tell you how to remove late payments from credit cards or from your credit card if you have any late payments, right? Now, listen, before I give you this information, now I want to show you something, right? Here I have a app to the Funding Academy, because the Funding Academy, I'm going to leave the link below. It's going to be in the description section and in the comment section, because this is where you get to communicate with me, right? Because here on the Funding Academy, I have a support section, right, where you can ask me questions. For example, let me show you something here. So this is the support section here. So this is where you get to, interact with me by asking me questions. And also in the Funding Academy, I have different resources for you. I have training videos, I have ebooks, I have checklists, I have frequently asked questions, and then there is a chat space. So this is an app. So because, right, you can access the Funding Academy from a web browser, but you can also access it from the app as well. So I'm going to leave the link below to the Funding Academy. Listen, get in, because this is where I give you information, right? Because listen, this is the only academy, the only funding academy that teaches you how to structure, how to position your personal credit, how to structure your business, and how to get funding. This is the only academy in Canada that teaches you this. There's no other institution that shows you how to position your personal credit, how to structure your business, your brand new business, and get funding with these different organizations. So in the Funding Academy, I have all these resources, right? I have ebooks, I have checklists, I have lenders, grants and lenders, right? So it's all in there. So the link is below. Now listen, the price is going to go up in April, right? So you want to get in, because once you're in, it's a 1-year membership. This is where you can ask me questions, you can interact with me in the Funding Academy. All right, so listen, the link is going to be below in the description section and in the comment section. So now let's proceed. Now, how do you remove late payments from your credit card, right, if you've been late? So this is how it works. Let me give you a little bit of a background, or what constitutes a late payment. So whenever you miss a payment, if it goes 30 days past due, the lender will report that to the credit bureaus, Equifax and TransUnion, right? So it has to reach 30 days past. So once that late payment reaches 30 days past due, then they will send it to, they will report it to Equifax, and they will report it to TransUnion. Now, if you are late for a few days, right? So let's say you missed the payment. Today is what? Today is April 7th, right? You missed the payment April 7th, and then, right, on April 9th, they send your report to the credit report. They send a report to the credit bureau, Equifax and TransUnion. It will not report on Equifax and TransUnion because it hasn't reached the 30 days mark yet, right? So it's late with the bank or the creditor, but it's not, right? It's not at a point where they will report it as a late payment, officially as a late payment to the credit bureau. So that's why you don't want to let any late payment go 30 days past due, right? So whenever you miss a payment, when it's a few days late, you can still make the payment, right? You don't want it to reach 30 days past due. That's when they send it to a credit reporting agency, Equifax and TransUnion. So this is very important. So now, what happens is if you missed a few payments? So now I'm talking from, because there's certain banks, right? So let's say you have a credit card with some of these big banks or some of these credit unions. So now, not all banks or credit unions have these programs. You're going to have to inquire with them. But certain banks have what's known as internal programs, right? Internal programs to help you rebuild your credit, to help you get, to update your credit. So now, one of the programs that some of these banks, I don't know for all banks, but the bank that I used to work with, or that I used to work at, they had this program, right? So it's called the re-aging program. So how it works is this, right? Anytime, so once you miss 3 payments on a credit card, right? 3 late payments, your credit card will automatically be canceled. It will be closed. So that means you can't use it for any more transaction. You can only use it for payments only, right? So 3 payments, they close your account. Now, once they close the account, right? If you miss 3 more payments, then they will send it to a third-party collection agency, right? Because banks, credit union, financial institution, they have their own internal collection agency. So once you miss 3 payments, right, or once you miss 1 payment, it will go to the internal collection agency, right? And then the internal collection agency, the bank's internal collection department, sorry, let me correct that. The bank's internal collection department, right? Because every bank has a internal collection department, and then there is external third-party collection department. Now, follow me. This is very important because this has to do with about you. It has to do with, this is about life, right? Because credit is attached to everything that we do in life. You want to get a job, they're going to check your credit. You want to buy a car, they're going to check your credit. You want to get an apartment, they're going to check your credit. So credit is essential. So you need to know how credit works. You need to know what you need to do to fix your credit. So I'm giving you some insight and some information that you can work with, that you can use as a reference point when you are trying to when you're trying to upgrade your credit or, update your credit. So remember that, very important, right? Banks, credit union, financial institution, they all have an internal collection department. So if you miss payments, they will send it to their internal collection department. And then after 6 payments, right? So after 6 payments, then they will sell it to a third-party collection agent. So that's why you never want to miss 6 consecutive payments in a row. Once you miss 6 payments, they are charging that off. So it will be charged off and it will be sold to a third-party collection agency. So now you have to deal with 3 parties. You have to deal with the banks, you have to deal with the collection agencies, and you have to deal with the credit bureau. So you don't want it to get to that point where you've missed 6 payments and they've charged it off and they've sold it to a third-party collection agency. So now, how do you remove that late payment? So when your account goes 3 payment past due, now, as I said, right, disclaimer, I don't know if all banks do this, right? But the bank that I used to work with, they had this program internally, right? So, so this is just a disclaimer. This is for education and this video is for education and research purposes only, right? So I'm not saying all banks have these programs, right? So they have a program, right? There's a program called the re-aging program. So what happens? You miss 3 payments, it goes to the internal collection department, and then in the internal collection department of that bank or the credit union or the financial institution, then once it's there, you can ask them to put you on a re-aging program, right? So it's a payment arrangement that you make with them where if you make 3 payments, in a row, what they will do is they will re-age that account, meaning that they will update it with the credit bureau, Equifax and TransUnion, to show that your account is up to date. So that late payment, it will no longer be late. They will show that it's up to date. Now, because your account is already closed, right, that information will stay on your credit report. So that information is not going anywhere. So it will show that on your credit report, Equifax and TransUnion, it will show that your credit account, your credit card is closed, right? It will show that it's closed. So that information is going to be visible to lender. But the late payment, once you get into a payment arrangement with them, right? So that's why you have to know the program. Once you get into that program, then they will re-age the account. So meaning that once you make 3 consecutive payments, they will re-age it. So they will update that information on the credit bureau to show that this account is paid as agreed upon, right? So meaning that it's now up to date. The payment was made, so therefore it's up to date. It's no longer a late payment. So that's what you call that's some of the programs that some of these banks and credit unions have, right? It's an internal program. It's a re-age program. Now, I don't know if all banks have it, but some of the banks, the bank that I was working with, they had this program where, right, you miss 3 payments, we will put you on a re-age program. You make 3 consecutive payments, and then we will update that information with the credit bureaus, Equifax and TransUnion. So now so that's why I said you don't want to miss 6 consecutive payments. Once you miss 6 consecutive payments, the bank, the credit union, the financial institution that you have a credit card with, the loan with, they will charge it off and then sell it to a third-party collection agency. So now once it goes to a third-party collection agency, now you have 6 late payments on your credit report, which is bad. You have a charge-off, which is even worse, and you have a collection account, right? So you have 3 negative items, or 3 you have a derogatory mark, you have delinquency, and then you have, and you have a charge-off. So you see, that's why you need to be on top of this. This is why the credit is important. That's why you need somebody to teach you, to show you. You need an institution. But unfortunately, there's no institution in Canada that teaches you this. So that's why I have the Funding Academy, right? Because in the Funding Academy, this is where I teach you, right? Because I have videos, training videos on how to position your personal credit, right? I have, grants and lenders. I have a database of grants and lender, right? So let me show you, right? So there's a database of grants and lenders. So this is all in the Funding Academy, right? Because as I said, I do have the app for it. Now, I never really promoted the app, but the app is there. So you can learn on the go, right? You can learn on demand and get funding at the same time with the Funding Academy. Because as I said, there is frequently asked questions, there is a chat space, discussion forum, right? And then there is a question and answer support right here, right? Now, this is all to help you, right? Because on YouTube, I don't really answer questions, right? On YouTube, so if you want to ask me questions, if you want to get that information that will transform your life, that will get you closer to positioning your personal credit, fixing your credit so you can get funding. You can get $50,000, $100,000 in unsecured business funding for a brand new business. And I've been telling you, these banks will give you up to $100K in unsecured funding. So this is where in the Funding Academy, I have all these training. As I said, I'm going to leave the link below in the description, in the comment section, right? The Funding Academy. It's a 1-year membership. This is where you get this information so this is where you understand how personal credit works, how business credit works, and how to get funding, right? And as I said, there's different resources in there. So information is for you. So, right? Don't say I didn't give you any new information. I'm telling you right now that, listen, banks, you have to check with which bank. Not all banks have this program, right? The re-aging program, where once you miss payment, right? Now, you don't want to be missing any payment, right? If you can avoid missing payments by any means necessary, right? But sometimes life happens, things happen. You have to take responsibility for it, right? You missed a payment here and there. Now you have to take responsibility for it. You have to figure out, okay, what is the best outcome? What is the best solution? How could I go about solving this solution, right? So now some of you are looking for some magic solution or some magic wand or some or some tricks. No, there is no trick. You just need to know the right information. You need to know, okay, what is the best way? What is some strategy? What is some arrangement that I can do to remove late payments, right? Or because listen, once that account leaves the bank, right, it goes to a third-party collection agency. You can't use this strategy again. You cannot apply this. This program doesn't apply anymore, right? These programs only apply when your account is still with the banks, right? With the credit unions, right? Because once you miss 6 consecutive payments in a row, that's when they charge it off and they sell it to a third-party collection agency. At that point, now you have to deal with a third-party collection agency. Now you have no more leverage. You can't deal with the bank directly, right? Because that account is gone. So that's why you want to get on top of that, right? You want to get ahead of that before you make sure that, before they charge it off, right? You want to make sure that account is still with the bank, right? Because remember this, very important. The banks have their own internal collection department, right? And then there's external collection department where they will sell your account once they reach 6 payments past due. So listen, I think I'm going to end it here because it's going over 10, 15 minutes. So as I said, link is going to be below to the Funding Academy. This is where you get more advanced strategy. This is where you get more advanced techniques on how to position your personal credit, structure your business, and get funding, and how to use consumer laws, right, from different provinces to help you dispute your case, right, to help you strengthen your case, right, because there's this consumer laws that it's on your side to help you. Because remember, the credit bureaus, they really don't report to you. The credit bureaus, they work for the banks, right? Equifax and TransUnion, they work for these banks, right? They're not really here for you. They're not trying to look out for you. They're looking out for the interests of the banks, the financial institution. That's why it's difficult for you to read your credit report. You realize the credit report is so complex, it's so confusing, right? It's a mystery. Why? Because it was not designed for you to understand it. It was designed for lenders, right? So that's why a credit report, most people don't read their credit report because they just don't know where to start. And there's a reason why it's intentional, because it was designed for lenders, creditors to understand, not you, the consumer. So that's why there's consumer laws to help you, dispute information on your credit report if the banks are not adhering to the laws, right? Or if the banks are not abiding, or if the banks are not doing what they're supposed, not the bank, sorry, the credit bureaus, the credit reporting agencies, right? If they're not doing what they're supposed to do, then this is where consumer law comes in. So listen, I'm out here. Remember, the Funding Academy link is below in the description and in the comment section. The price is going on. It's going up in April because there's more training and there's more services that I'm going to be adding. So listen, I'm out of here. I will see you all in the next video. I am out.